Hey, welcome to another Kearys Carstore video, and first of all a thank you for all the shares and likes and comments and things you've been doing all along. It's been brilliant to have you along since the beginning of Kearys Carstore video, and I know we're phenomenally busy. We got customers in the background, we got a siren going off over there, we got building happening over here. It's never been busier in Kearys Carstore, but the stock is still good and high. We've had such a phenomenal following come in from our social media and what we're trying to do and raise the profile of this place. Thank you one and all who have been in touch with us over the last week while about our cars. Our stocks are starting to build up again. We're starting to get a few more cars in. There's a good selection on stock right now if you want to check it out on carstore.ie. But anyway, let's look at these MPVs, starting with the one nearest to you, which is the Citroen C4 Picasso. 7 seats, automatic gearbox in this one as well, which is a bit more unused, a little bit more comfortable. And it has this panoramic glass fronted windscreen, which you'll have a look at in a second. Beside that is the Opel Zafira. This is the legend of the 7-seat cars, was the dominant force for a long time in that segment. And then over there is the big one. The big one, the one that I think was probably actually my favorite one, is the Renault Scenic, which is a fairly current model. So we're going to find out all about each one of these three. Join me straight after this.
Use your head and finger at carstore.ie. Find us in Cork and Dublin.
So let's start off with the Renault Scenic. Now Renault actually started this segment off with the Espace, the first kind of family 7-seaters on the market. This one just locked and unlocked itself here while the time said it. That started the segment off. This Scenic now is the graduation of what that is. This one is a 7-seat. Scenic came after Espace. Espace was first. Tell you what, let's explain more about it on the inside, right? Wow, Dublin's getting very noisy these days, isn't it? Really. This is much quieter in here now, I have to say. The space in a Renault Scenic is always very, very good. The distance to everything, even going from here to the gearbox, is a good stretch of the arm. It's very nice. It's a lovely place to sit. Really good view out the front. The dashboard has a long expanse ahead. You can't see this is what people don't like about MPVs, is the drop off of where the front of the car is. Fortunately, there's park assessors in this one at the front, so you'd be okay anyway, but you just can't see it when you're driving along. Now these come with remote central lock, so the car locks itself and unlocks itself just by walking up to it. And this one is a manual, so we'll start it up. There's a familiar sound of a petrol engine in this one. This has an eco button, it has air conditioning, it has everything you need, and a small touchscreen up here at the top. It's more than enough. Loads of storage. Look at, I can put my arm into that storage bin. It's a big storage bin here in the centre, but we're not finished with storage yet, because that whole segment rolls back and forward. The whole thing. You can move it back so you get more storage down here. Not wild. You got 12-volt sockets, you don't want that, you move that forward and that becomes part of the dashboard here instead. Such a clever little system now. It's actually got a little gear release. You can hear it as you pull up and do that. So that, under here then, you got another storage unit with 2 USB ports in it. So I can move that and I can open that. It's so easy. I love this car for storage wise. Auto on the air conditioning system means you can just turn down the temperature to whatever suits you, whatever you like. Low if you want on a warm day like today. This car comes very highly spec'd, and I like the seating position. I really like this seating position here. You could cruise for many a comfortable mile on those big seats. Plus they have wings that flap out on both sides of your head. It's a really comfortable place to be, this car. I really like this. Let's just have a look though and see what the rear passengers get, because they're going to be important for this car as well, as you do buy a 7-seat car with the kids in mind. So the back seat of the Scenic has a broad door. There's a reason behind that. It's also got a little sunshade built into the door here as well, but the reason for the broad door is because, and all the parents of the world, I know you're going to know what I'm talking about here, is when you're trying to put a child into the child seat here, you need room for the bum against the door, right? This shifts back. Ooh, see, now this is where it gets cool. So you can shift that back and you can actually get in here at the child seat, which this has 2 isofix points here and 2 on the far side, so we can take 2 big child seats in these 2 seats in the middle. And then the one in the centre here has not got an isofix, but it does have a normal seat belt going into it here as well, coming out of the roof. Now you can shift this forward like that and reduce the leg room for the kids or adults even back here, so you can have 2 more in the back. And that's an important factor, because without being able to move them, you got no leg room in the back, right? Also, you can pull this and lift the whole seat forward. So now I can get someone into the back seats. Easy. Even an adult can make that jump between the two. When you have that amount of space in the car, there's no going back from where they are now. You'll always want a 7 seat, I promise. There's another reason behind that, because you can turn this into basically a van. Okay, so just thinking about the back for a minute. This is big enough to sit in right here, and you're under this. This would be a lovely place if you're going on a picnic out, you're coming down to a beach, or I don't know, you're going to the races or something, you want to sit somewhere in the shade, out of the rain. So these two seats here operate from a button down here. You just drop them into the floor. Now I can also do that. And I got a van. You see? A van. Look at. You can easily climb into the whole back of the car, and it's a full-size van. You can sleep in here. This is a lovely place to hang out, and there's tons of room. But when you want it, you've still got 7 seats in here. So if you're going to do like a trip to IKEA or something, this is going to do all that work for you as well. That's why these MPVs are often overlooked, but you should never overlook something like this, because it's very, very clever.
Use your head and finger at Carstore.ie. Find us in Cork and Dublin.
Now, for the Opel Zafira, it is actually a German car, whether it be Vauxhall or Opel written on the front of it, it's German. Big, heavy interior is what a Vauxhall Zafira does well. For Opel Zafira, it is a big, chunky interior. Feels like you're sitting in something quite heavy and substantial, and you are. This is a Zafira, these aren't small cars. Storage in this is probably not quite as clever, I don't think, as the Scenic, because there's nothing moving here in the middle. There is a box here which can hold quite a bit of stuff, probably a couple of mobile phones, or maybe, I don't know, lunch might fit in there as well. There's a couple of cup holders behind that, and a small cubby hole here again. And then this armrest that just kind of slides back and forward. It doesn't really do anything else. This is, at the time, was probably the biggest of the cars you could have on the inside, because the interior is actually quite large. There's a big bonnet line out in front of you. You still can't see the actual bonnet of the car, but you can see out quite well. They put these split windows in here to be able to see out. These are in all of the cars. You'll find every one of them are the same. But so far, for me, the Scenic has a nicer position to sit in right here. But let's have a look and see if this Zafira get any better in the back than the Scenic. Now, this is where you're starting to see the change. Again, though, you do get this very broad door, so you do have access to get at the child seat here. Now, this one has ISOFIX on both sides, but I would say you would probably get a larger child seat into the middle of this one as well, because it's slightly broader than the Scenic in here, the way the seats are laid out. You get a 12-volt socket in the back here as well. You get the same sort of idea of seats as you do in the Scenic, and that this folds down. They fold independently in this one, rather than a 60-40 factor. There are ways of shifting it forward and shifting it back when you want to. So when you actually want to get into the back seat, you pull the top half of the seat here and it rolls forward like that, and now you can get access into the back seat. So you can see you can keep 2 kids there still, and I can still get at this back seat here as well. Now you can see the tailgate has the same factor. I can sit underneath the tailgate here, but the back seats do push me out of the back of the car. So the boot in all 7 seats up is bigger in the Scenic than it is in this Zafira. But you can drop these seats down like you can in the Zafira, in the Scenic. So you pull those 2 tabs there and you push the seat down, and then you get this broad open floor. So now you have a proper full-size boot in this car in 5-seat mode. Tons of room back here. This little flap goes over the top of that. You can actually lift it up as well and put more stuff underneath that if you want to. But a big difference here is there isn't a button here to lower these seats. So you have to go in and lower these seats from inside the car. So when I do, you drop that one like that. Then you drop this one like this. And then you either climb in and drop that one yourself, or you go around the car and pull it as well. You can do either. I've chosen to do it the hard way because, well, I'm a man and I do things the hard way. This hasn't got a flat floor, so these don't match up with one another. There is a gap here in the middle between the 2 of them. That would be an issue if you're going to lie down in the back of the car, because it isn't here. There is a panel that fits over the top of that. So this one, I still would have a preference for the Scenic, even though there's plenty of room in here. It is a big car, it's not a small car by any means, but the Scenic has it on space. Let's have one look at the Citroen C4, see if that offers anything different for us. So this is the Citroen C4 Picasso. Now this has one of the best interiors on the market. There's a really good heavy thunk off that door. Have the engine running because of the air conditioner on as well. It's so warm today. Exterior temperature right now is 25 degrees, so it's pretty warm in here. This has a full digital dash out in front of you, which is kind of an LCD screen. It's very nice actually to look at, very clear in all conditions, apart from the sun shines directly on it, which can only happen when it's at the back of the car. It has a touchscreen here for the air conditioning, which is actually quite responsive. It's very easy to use. Funny way of starting, you have to put the key into the ignition hole and press the start button as well, and the same for the reverse. So if you want to turn the car off, the key has to be an ignition or a long press. And there's a massive shelf down here as well, with all kinds of plugs and USB ports built into it, all in here with lights and everything inside. Then we have the center console, which can shift about again, a bit like the Scenic one, and you got massive storage inside it and cup holders in the front, and it's big armrests on your chair. It's so comfortable in here. But it's kind of party piece, it's not just that, because you've got all these sun visors going all the way down, but when you want to, if it's a nice day, you can push that back and see even more. So visibility out of this car starts here and goes all the way out to the front of the car. It's a very, very nice car to spin around in. If you want to kind of shade yourself in, you can push them all forward at that as well. It's so easy. Push that back and forward. And it's the same on the passenger side. You want to roll it back, roll it forward. You can do all kinds of things here on the top. It gives you a full panoramic roof with these little edges here as well. This one has an automatic box control up here from the top and a big steering wheel in front of you too. It's really easy to drive this one. As big as it is, it doesn't really feel very big on the road. And that's a good thing for drivers that don't like to drive a very big car that's hard to park, you know. So as per usual, we come to expect, we have a big back door, but it's actually super big back door. It's very wide, which means I could actually get into the car this way around. What do you think of that? These seats all move, of course, as you would expect in these cars. Slides back, rolls forward to allow you access into the back of it. This one's actually very easy to do. You also have that feature. Oh, I have to lower this a little bit. Makes it fall all the way to the ground like that, so you get a flat floor, all in one seat. This is all very, very easy to glide. You can see how fast I can do that, and how fast I can make it all fold up and out of the way. It's very simple to use. I do like a lot of the features in the way Citroen do their back of the seats. Tons of room in here as well. Some very clever little things. Under the floor here we have extra floor storage. Want to keep things out of sight when you're at the beach. This appears under the floor there too. And there's plenty of access for the two back seats. Let's have a see if the boot offers the same space as the Scenic. Space in the back, as you can see, you can do the same thing as you can in the Scenic. You can sit here between the two seats. It is a little bit behind me again, so you're sitting here, but it won't be. You have to lower these seats out your way to sit in. The Scenic has it in this back seat, I'm telling you, this back part here. So to drop the seats, you move this little flap out of the way here, you pull that tag, it drops down, and then you push the tag out over it. So you unfold this little piece so it covers over where the seat was. So I like that. That's something that's very, very good in these cars, because it makes the floor actually flat all the way along. So you got a proper flat floor here. And now when I go around to the side of the car, so I can drop the seat like that, then I can drop that seat like that, and now I have a van again. But I do have quite a step here in the middle, but the back here, this part is properly flat. The only one who's flat straight off the mark is the Renault Grand Scenic, which means you could lie down in it in its present form, which is quite good. I like that. Plenty of room in this back, loads of room in here. These seats are pretty handy to use as well. They're by far the easiest to slide around the place, turn it back into seats and stuff. And there's always room and options here to make this car bigger in every way. So it can be 5-seat, 7-seat, 6-seat, 4-seat, whatever you want to do. Plenty of time. And let's have a discussion of which one's the best. At Kearys Carstore.ie, we always have our cars in top quality condition. As you can hear behind me, our mobile valeting service is cleaning up the cars over there. If you want to look after the cars that are here, go to CarStore.ie and select the cars you're looking for. There's over 700 used cars on the market right now, with stocks that are both growing and falling, because we're selling some of the cars we want. Quite a busy day here out in the sun, everyone looking to buy their car. It's a beautiful day for Kearys Carstore. It is definitely worth your time. Have a look at the website for more details. Anyway, let's crack on with the rest of the review. So now you get a sense of just how big these cars can be. These things are as big as a van. But which one is the right one for you? Well, that's a question really for you. My favourite is the Scenic, because it comes with so much space and so many other novel features like that sliding thing that goes back and forward in the armrest. There's just some really clever little touches about it. Plus, it's big enough to put a bed into when you're finished with it. The Citroen will be next for me. I kind of like what it does. I love the glass panel front window. I like the automatic gearbox as well, it's quite nice in that. And then the Opel Zafira, but I have to split hairs, to be honest, between the two of these. I think they're both pretty clever. You can choose whichever car you want though on Carstore.ie. There is up to 700 and more used cars available online right now this very minute. You can find all these cars at the links down below. You can also find links to these kind of cars, as there is a selection of MPVs on the market. You can have any one of them. My favourite again, the Scenic over there. I think it's just very, very clever. Thank you very much for joining me for this. Please share these videos. We want everyone to get a chance to see which one of the cars are the best ones for theirs. Also tell all your friends about Kearys Carstore.ie. It's a pretty cool place to hang out. Anyway, until the next video, look after yourselves. See you later on. I'm going to put these cars back and maybe get a little bit of the sun before it goes out.
Use your head and finger at Carstore.ie. Find us in Cork and Dublin.